He knew what he can do before he even got in this ring. I looked at him face to face and I said, man, you gonna get this? He said, Canelo can't beat me, Tim.
Fight fans, welcome back.
Protect yourselves at all times. Listen to my commands. Touch them up.
The casual fans wanted blood.
Are you ready to feel the Mexican power?
That's crazy in hindsight. If you guys wanted to see my prediction for this fight, right, it was on TikTok. I did not post a full-length YouTube video for my prediction. It is on TikTok. But I got it like to the T, exactly how this was going to play out. And there's people in my comments just hating, saying it's because Terence Crawford's black. Saying that I don't know anything about boxing. Saying all this, all that. I'm going to reveal to you exactly how I knew.
His Excellency wanted entertainment.
And let's show Netflix the real boxing.
And the purists wanted answers.
Can Bud Crawford pull the upset and become this era's GOAT?
Will there be a moment where Crawford realizes that he's in over his head, moving up to 168?
Alvarez commits to the right hand and lands.
It's going to be a moment.
Not only is he not backing up from Canelo's power, but he may be doing more damage with his own in these exchanges.
To those who said he was running, to those who said Canelo was running, I think he used the ring beautifully. I think that was one of the best showcases on how to use the ring properly. You know? And there was times where he would trade with him in the middle, where he stood right in front of him, and those are the clips that went viral.
Is made in hindsight, and the significance, value, and grandeur of such a high-profile event can only really be appreciated once the stadium empties, the crowds dissipate, and the heart rates drop.
I don't know how you can put words to describe what we watched.
Tonight he proved that he's the greatest boxer that ever lived.
But there's more to the story. So here's a look at the past, present, and future.
This is furious action.
Following 2025's fight of the decade between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Welcome to a Motivedia presentation.
Beautiful.
Let me tell you why boxing might be entering a golden age right now.
From the moment it was first signed, this one felt like more than just a fight.
The fight.
Man, I even made a video saying that I didn't think the fight was going to happen anymore. Because Turkey was moving on from it. Canelo didn't seem interested. There was reports that Canelo was going to fight Jake Paul. It was a lot going on where I was like, man, this fight is just not getting made, bro. But when it got made, I was like, ooh. Man, this one of them ones. One of them ones that you get once a decade. You know? These are one of the ones that you get once a decade.
It felt like the closure of an important chapter, not just for American boxing, but boxing as a whole.
Maybe it's going to be bigger, but look, boxing is always big and big and bigger and bigger and bigger.
And with the Fury Joshua box still left unticked, and Gervonta and Shakur drifting further apart than ever, rather than let this era fizzle into a distant memory, Canelo, Crawford, and Turki Al Sheikh ensured it went out with a bang.
Because I shake the room.
¡Viva México, cabrones!
One man out to achieve the unthinkable.
One thing about Crawford's one of those guys who mentally you can see how serious he is. When he speaks, when he talks, the way he walks, the way he acts, the way his characteristics lets you know that he is serious and 100% about the things he's saying. That is a man who says, if I can beat you, bro, I will beat you. You believe it. Like, it's not playing games. And I realized that with the Errol Spence fight. I've never seen a fighter till this day, outside of watching Mayweather, fight a perfect fight. A perfect fight. Him against Errol Spence was an A+ performance. Neutralized the opponent completely. An A+ performance. Seeing that in my generation, I'm not like Floyd is before my generation. It's like a little bit of my generation, but like I got the tail end of Floyd, right? But seeing a fighter fight perfect, I said, hold on. I said, I'm never betting against Bud again. I said I'm never betting against Bud again. I don't care if you put Anthony Joshua in front of him. I'm never betting against Bud again. I saw a perfect fight. How can you go against a person like that? That shows the discipline. That shows the mindset. That shows the ability, the IQ. And the Canelo fight was an example of that. Y'all, if y'all look at on my TikTok, y'all gonna see I literally said verbatim exactly what was gonna happen, and that's because you can't bet against Terence Crawford, a guy who can fight a perfect fight. How do you go against that?
3-time undisputed champion in the male division.
The other to prove he was still untouchable.
Don't get me wrong, he's a great fighter, but I say, he's no Canelo. Born ready.
Born ready.
Thank you. Thank you.
By fight week, any of the preformed criticisms or Madrimov doubts had been shut away.
Based on how Crawford looked at 54, do you think talk of him facing Canelo should stop?
That's ridiculous. That's why we have weight classes. Size does matter.
Canelo Crawford, obviously Terence just rocked up there. What do you make of his chances?
He have a great chance because of his heart, his talent, and also his game plan and his strategy.
Instead,
when people kept talking about Canelo's size and how much bigger he is, I don't think they're really. I think they got in the hype of the fact that Canelo is a giant slayer. Canelo's not a giant. He's just a giant slayer. He can beat guys way bigger than him, which makes him seem larger than life. But Canelo in and of himself, he's just a very good giant slayer, but he's not a giant. Things like this, I feel like in the boxing world, like the visions get blurred because you hear so many different things. It's like once you clear out all the noise and just go by what you see, it gets a lot more clear. And anything could happen in boxing, but this was clear. They're the same height. Crawford clearly has the advantages in terms of athletic ability. It was simply, can Crawford take Canelo's punches? And he didn't even have to. He was blocking almost everything. Almost everything.
168 battle-ready frame swayed high-profile opinions and narrowed the betting odds to within touching distance.
Canelo Alvarez, as he faced his toughest opponent to date, I believe.
Can you match him punch for punch like Golovkin?
He's just keeping up the tempo, throwing.
That's what's interesting to see.
That they deserve respect, and instead of us telling them what they can do, let them show us what they can do.
There's a lot of unknown here, so anybody who tells you that they know, they're not telling you the truth because none of us know.
Max Kellerman was back.
I actually somewhat agree with that statement. Before the fight was coming up, I had my stance on Terence Crawford. And I 100% thought Terence Crawford was going to win this fight, and he did. You know, like I said, my prediction videos before they even fought was up. Right? But at the same time, there was a bit of myself that I expressed. You still don't know. It's still boxing. At the end of the day, it's still Canelo. Like every single round that was passing by, I was like, it's still Canelo though. It's still Canelo though. Because Terence Crawford got this, but it's still Canelo. Like you better be on your P's and Q's, all 12.
And the big fight feeling was here.
Because of Netflix, this will be the most watched fight, championship fight, in almost 50 years.
Legends had thrown in their 2 cents, and a dangerous confidence came from both men on stage.
But like I say, I need to be smart and do my job, and if the knockout comes, welcome.
I see you. You see I'm different.
I see you too.
You see I'm different than all the other ones.
No, I see you. No, you don't look different. You're nothing different.
I'm different.
And while we'd seen all of the familiar faces as the fight approached, to some, it still felt like one very important man was missing. You see, we'd seen Terence Crawford. He was feeling the moment, smiling, and a lot happier to be there than usual, but we hadn't seen Bud.
You gotta meet force before.
You said you're like Kobe Bryant, and he played better angry. Do you fight better?
We'd had a bit of an onstage ruckus in New York, but the Piers Morgan interview didn't bring out the same man that eyeballed Amir Khan like he was lunch.
Everybody that they said that was smaller than, that they was bigger and stronger. You see
lunch.
Everybody that they...
Y'all see this look? Is this a man you want to, like, granted, you know, I'll go up against any... You feel me? But look, hear me out. Let me ask you this, is look at, like, come on. There's certain people that you may know in certain areas that you may live in. This is a serious face. Like, certain people don't play. You know what I'm saying? Certain people don't let it get anywhere near that. You know, if you're not in their immediate family, they don't let it get certain places. Terence Crawford immediately gives me those vibes. Like, you don't play with Terence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a serious man right there.
Said that I was smaller then, that they was bigger and stronger. You see what happened.
Nor the man that took a swipe at Jose Benavidez.
Hey, that was smooth on Jose
no
Benavidez.
signs of the Canelo Alvarez that was forced to retaliate against Plant.
You would say 3 nice things about your opponent.
He's a great fighter. He's a great father. Cool dude.
Ultimately, you can construct hype, but you can't force hate. But on this occasion, from Crawford, the joviality and friendliness was somewhat of a Trojan horse, because the mean spirit was still there. And it was a split-second head tilt and target lock at the final presser that finally confirmed it.
When did you know that you were going to beat him?
When he signed the contract.
Man, that's cold. That's cold. Y'all, the second, I really do believe him when he says that. I really do believe him when he says that. Stylistically, this was a match made in heaven for Terence Crawford. And I expressed that in my prediction, I talked about how Canelo and Errol Spence are similar in the fact that they are simplistic fighters. Someone else hated on me the fact that I call Canelo a simplistic fighter. Now there's going to be some people who'll be like, oh, if it's so simple, you do it then. Guys, relax. All right? Like, relax, okay? What I mean by he's a simplistic fighter at his level is that he doesn't do anything flashy. He doesn't do too many combinations. He doesn't do too many jabs. He doesn't set up punches an awful lot. He is a simplistic fighter. Errol Spence is a simplistic fighter. They go to the body, then they execute up top. They go to the body, then they execute up top. It's the same game plan because no one can stop it. Same thing with Deontay Wilder. Well, except Deontay Wilder's a little bit more wild. But he's a simplistic fighter, and he just knows he can get him out of there eventually. Errol Spence is a simplistic fighter, but he knows he can get them out of there eventually. There's tactics and game plans to the body, and then go up top, bum, bum, bum. All right, they're out of there. I'm done. But with Terence Crawford, after seeing what Terence did to Errol, I would argue Canelo's an even more simplistic fighter than Errol Spence, offense-wise. So, I thought this was going to be lunch.
So after seeing Dana squirm a little,
TKO can't make those changes to the Ali Act. Will you still invest in the sport of boxing?
Listen, if you want to be an asshole, let's do it in private and we can do an interview.
And with the Jaron Ennis sparring whispers continuing to blur the lines.
I gotta ask you, people gonna kill me if I don't. How was the work?
The work was great. It's fun, sparring Canelo. Trying to pick his brain. He got I think he 70 fights in. So I was picking his brain, having fun, and sharpening my tools, That's about it,
Yes, he got sparring with Boots Ennis to emulate that Terence Crawford style, but is that enough 2 sparring sessions to get his head around those quick switch instincts that Terence Crawford has?
The downpour of
I honestly thought having Boots was smart. I thought having Boots was the smartest thing Canelo Alvarez could have done. Boots is also a switch hitter just like Terence Crawford and does it pretty efficiently. Boots is also just a good fighter and has the ability to become a great fighter. So I thought it was an amazing sparring partner, but Terence is still one of one. Like, Terence is still, he is the best boxer in boxing right now. So you can't really replicate that, but I think bringing in Boots was the closest you could get.
Would only add fuel to the fire. And Fight Night was about to tell a completely different story. Embracing the hostility with some high-level trolling saw Crawford pull off a Mexican-themed entrance. a nostalgic nod to Floyd Mayweather, who used to don Mexican colors and a sombrero.
He wants to engage them in a negative way to derive energy from it, to show he's not intimidated.
Oh, and he brought out 50 Cent. That's hard. That is tough right there. Smart move, I would say. I mean, actually, I really have no opinion on that. But Mexican fans are one of the most loyal fans. Obviously, like, you should be loyal for your country, but they're diehard. You know what I'm saying? Like, they go crazy. They're one of the few people that you can't really, like, outroar. You know what I'm saying? You can't outroar the Mexican fans, but you control them. You control them.
Before beating some of the nation's most beloved fighters.
We got everything from the middle of the gold up. It's going to be good.
They say history repeats itself, and it's a statement never more true than within the confines of the sweet science.
He said, well, if Ray Leonard could beat Marvelous Marvin Hagler, then Terence Crawford can beat Canelo Alvarez. He said, same equation. Get in, get out.
I love this comparison. I love this comparison because Hagler is a big dude. Hagler is a big dude versus the slick, fast, quick, twitchy Sugar Ray Leonard. I like this comparison.
Get in, get out. Yeah. Over and over and over. Right. That's what Ray did so effectively against Hagler. And it frustrated Hagler. And the more you frustrate the opponent, the better off you are.
Can Bud Crawford pull the upset that generations from now, this generation will say, I don't care who you bring. That's the best guy I've seen.
The fight started exactly the way we expected, a cagey opener with a few early glimpses of success. A second-round smile for me was an early indicator that Crawford had a little more pop than he expected. And while Saul's shots were certainly heavier, Bud was never there long enough for him to start teasing.
Wow, beautifully, right there. I thought that was a problem that, not Lamont Roach. What's his name? The guy who Tank fought. I can't believe I'm forgetting his name, but the guy before Lamont Roach. How am I forgetting? Frank Martin. There we go. Frank Martin. Frank Martin did this horribly. Like, he stayed on the ropes too long against a power puncher. You never want to do that. So I thought Terence Crawford was very smart. Anytime he was on the ropes, he wouldn't be there that long for Canelo to really load up and have an effect on his body, take a toll away from Terence Crawford's body. I thought it was beautiful how he moved around the ring. It was beautiful, and it was not running.
Off.
He was looking for looping shots. And when you can't get your jab established, it's hard to land your power shot.
Come to have it 3-0 because he gave the first to Crawford, which Crawford.
Poker faces were in full effect. Yep and nope gestures as the punches rained in, reminiscent of the first Golovkin fight.
Right hand. Canelo shakes his head. That usually means he got hit.
As Canelo shakes his head, Golovkin shakes his head back and said, well, what about that?
We know that Crawford is the sharper boxer. What we haven't seen yet is what happens if and when Canelo lands something hard upstairs.
But as the minutes passed, it was Crawford putting the final stamp on every exchange.
But he may be
100%. And I will say this, though. I was worried about Canelo's body shots because Canelo was getting them through. A lot of them were blocked, but the ones that were getting through, I was like, I hope Terence, he blocks it a little better because some of them cracked through the guard or some of them were pierced right and down the middle from Canelo Alvarez. He got Terence to the body a couple times, but that also shows how strong Terence is because there's a couple I'm like, ooh, one more of those, and then, another one would happen. I'd be like, ooh, another one of those, and I'd be like, oh, no, Terence could actually take them. Not that he was taking many. It was very few. But he can take them. Or even cracks to the chin. Terence was still right there. So that shows his chin, his core strength. That shows that Terence is a dog.
Doing more damage with his own in these exchanges.
And when he needed to dig in there and exchange punches, he was not only willing to do that, he was successful in achieving that.
And where the Nebraskan's mean streak was disputed in the build-up,
Crawford looked very comfortable right now.
It was the attitude of the Mexican called into question when it mattered most.
Teddy Atlas would always say, Canelo is looking to be friends, and Crawford is not looking to be friends.
It looked like Canelo Alvarez almost wanted to walk off at one point.
Yeah, I mean, he was frustrated, and it is frustrating to try and fight a guy, and you want to fight, but this guy's moving well.
Ni te calientes, ni que desesperes, así al pasito, güey. Es difícil, es buen peleador también él.
Moving past the halfway stage, the trade-off was glaringly obvious. The more Crawford gained momentum, the more Canelo lost patience.
Canelo did like some weird leg movement, and he looked like he was hurt in some way of injury.
And that childlike smile and masterful rhythm, to anyone who's watched Terence in the past, was all too familiar.
That's what boxing's about, people. It's about this strategy. That's what he had.
I think it's more than no nonsense.
Round 9 caught fire, and while Crawford never really deviated from his southpaw stance, he never needed.
This is what went viral. This specific exchange in round 9, where you see Terence staying right there. So for the ones who say he was running, incorrect. Where Crawford was staying right there, right in the pocket, dealing with exchanges. Canelo was coming back straight to the body, up top, everything, and Terence Crawford neutralizing all of it. And having a flurry of shots and still staying in the middle. Beautiful to see.
Too, because the success was coming.
He stepped a little more to Canelo than Floyd, right?
Nobody's ever hit Canelo like that before, ever.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Moments of Alvarez's desperation were met with laser focus, as Bud stayed within his own boundaries, refused to take any unnecessary risks.
Bud just beat the out of Canelo, man! He is so much man!
A fleet-footed, sharp-shooting in-and-out display, capped off, as always, by an unbreakable spirit and relentless engine. A night where Terence Crawford once again defied the odds to make the face of boxing look distinctly normal.
This has been a masterful performance.
Man, I don't know why they're not showing it. Decision. I don't know why they're not showing it, but there was a sequence, I believe in round 12, where it was 11 or 12. I'm pretty sure it's 12 though, where Terence Crawford, it looked like Bud was about to get out of there. Y'all gonna say it was a stretch? Look back at the footage. It looked like he wobbled just a little bit. Not a distinct, oh my goodness, he 100% was dazed, but it looks like something was there. I would say about 80%. It looked like Crawford or Canelo was out of it. Like, what's going on? But then the round, I believe it was 12, round ended and then that was the fight. So not many people are going to even remember that moment. But if you look back at round 12, like the last 20 seconds, Canelo was hurt. Canelo was hurt.
The fighting pride of Omaha, Nebraska, USA, and new Ring Magazine, and undisputed.
Art in fistic form from a man who finally gets his flowers as one of the best to ever do it.
This generation will say about you what the last one said about Floyd and what generations ago they said about Sugar Ray Robinson. They'll say no one could have beaten our guy.
As far as I'm concerned, pound for pound, Terence Crawford is the best on the planet as we speak right now. He's the man.
A lot of guys prior to you would just come and show up and get the paycheck. And the win for them was just getting in the ring.
Oh,
and they
man, that was definitely Charlo. That was definitely Charlo. Charlo just was moving around the ring and did not exchange at all. At all.
They try to win. I said, one thing we're going to say about Bud is he's going to try to win, and win you did.
Oh, I feel great. I feel great. I feel strong. You know, Crawford is a great fighter, skilled fighter. And I get the credit to Crawford, obviously. And I feel great. I still feel the same.
A respectful torch-passing moment between two consummate professionals, and credit of the highest order as the curtains came down.
If you can, compare and contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence Bud Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
Is that a stretch to say? Is that a stretch to say? Now, some people may say so. And I do think Floyd has a better resume. I do think Floyd, because Floyd has him on his resume. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even going to try to break that whole thing down, but I do think Floyd has a better resume. But I think stylistically, if Crawford and Floyd were to fight today's time, maybe it's recency bias, but I would take Crawford slightly, simply because Crawford's bigger. Crawford has a longer reach. Crawford's agility and athleticism, and Crawford's ability to, like I said, have a perfect fight. You know, his discipline with his defense, his IQ with his offense, I believe it matches Floyd's, and his athleticism exceeds Floyd's. You know, so it'll be a tough one, but I would take Floyd. But this is not far-fetched. I don't think it's far-fetched. So you can make a case for either side, but it's not far-fetched.
But Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
It's wild, because, like, if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's.
Yeah.
And Floyd was faster, and he had a better defense and all that stuff.
The who did it better Floyd comparisons were inevitable.
But once he left lightweight, he was careful about when he fought guys. So even though his resume is deeper, people remember, yeah, but he didn't want it with certain dudes at certain times.
So they didn't want you to face Pacquiao right away?
I'm not ducking and dodging nobody. You know what it is.
No, what is it? Is Bob Arum?
I got a list, but whenever it happened, it happened.
Crawford, we all witnessed, even though the resume is thin in certain ways, he wanted it with everyone the whole time.
Every time that I got a chance, I wiped the floor with him. So just imagine where I would have been at today.
And that Errol Spence fight still brings PTSD.
If I had got them opportunities a long time ago.
Yes. That makes a difference to people.
Do you think Crawford's more likely to beat?
I actually think if this fight was done earlier, like let's say 3 years ago, it would not be the same result. Let me watch what I'm saying. It's Terence Crawford. I can't go against him. Sorry. I just can't do it. I can't bring myself to do it. He is a complete fighter. But I do think, let's say this happened 2017, 18. I think Terence became a complete fighter. I'm talking a fighter who knows how to stay patient, knows how to stay, resilient, and just the overall completeness. Because I feel like he was always a great fighter. But a complete fighter, I'd say happened kind of 2019, 2020, around that up to date. That's when he really became a complete fighter. But before that, he leave himself open for a lot of, I feel like his anger almost let him get overzealous at times and leave himself open. He leave himself open a lot of times, which caused him to get cracked earlier on. I believe he got cracked by Gamboa. It left him to get cracked a lot. So this fight happening now, it just shows how he's learning and progressing over the years. He's a complete fighter.
Before this or no?
I don't think he should be moving up to super middleweight. There's a limit to greatness, man. There's a limit.
But Terence Crawford didn't just join a list of Canelo conquerors alongside Mayweather and Bivol.
Imagine if Bivol never did that and Terence Crawford was the first one to beat him after Floyd. That would have made it even more of a shocker. You know what I'm saying? Like the loss to Canelo was or Canelo losing, it was like, oh wow, Terence Crawford's really like that. It's stamped that Terence Crawford's a GOAT. But being the third one to beat Canelo, it's all like you don't feel it as much. Regardless, he did it. He did that. You feel it, but not as much as if Bivol never did. It'd have been like, whoa. Like whoa. I almost kind of wanted Crawford to be the one, but Bivol obviously, I think Canelo really bit off more than he could chew. But it would have been it would have just been a different level. Like guys would have looked at Canelo as a mystical creature going into this fight.
He entered a much more exclusive roster, joining the Ray Robinsons and Ray Leonards.
Is he on the Mount Rushmore of boxers?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
3-time undisputed.
Like Max said that he is the GOAT of this generation.
He's definitely on the list, bro. Definitely on the list.
I find it probably almost impossible to go against Roy, but when you go over the longevity and period of time, then the debate starts. Is it Floyd? Is it Crawford? Is it Leonard? Is it Robinson? And you have that's like a different kind of great.
What comes next at 37 years of age? will determine how the final chapter plays out.
And you know, who knows? I might go down to 160.
I already told him.
Okay.
I already told him it's your time, bro. You
Right.
deserve $100 million.
When's the rematch, or when does that type of conversation start for you? I already saw you getting called out by folks.
But whether we see Pretty Boy Bud turn into Money Bud, or we see him continue to fight the very best the sport has to
Money
offer.
Bud doesn't even sound right. Like, that's just not Bud's character. I'd rather say like Fisherman Bud. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he catches the big fish or something. I don't know. Just not Money. Like, Money Bud just doesn't fit. Even though he's making that money.
Johnny Bang!
My cousin and I was talking about Jerron Boots Ennis and how if Terence Crawford decides to fight Boots, that wouldn't be a bad idea either. Now, I know some people are going to be like, you could leave him alone. But realistically, if you did what Floyd did to Canelo and kind of pull a, I'm the best now, I'm boxing's past, present, and future, I think that's a big thing. Because look, you beat Canelo, so your boxing's past or history. I don't want to say Canelo's like in his past, like a past fighter or anything like that, right? But Canelo is a fighter who's been here for a long time. So you show that you can, beat someone from the past, beat someone in the present, being Errol Spence, a more, same age type Bob. Well, Canelo's not even old. So my whole point, you could interchange them, but the future being Jerron Boots Ennis. You see what I'm saying? The future being, okay, Jerron's up next. What if you just get him out of there the same way Floyd got out Canelo? Just so you can be the only one to beat Jerron if he has that career that people say he will have. I think it's interesting. Show that you're the past, present, and future. You are boxing. It's an interesting thing to think about.
There isn't an obvious name. Turkey just tweeted, I think about an hour ago, something like, can David Benavidez, still make 168 pounds?
El monstruo!
All right, this is where we end the video. I think this is dumb. I don't think this should happen at all, 0%. I think it made sense for Bud to fight Canelo because Canelo is a giant slayer, but Canelo's not a giant himself. The same way Terence Crawford is now. Terence Crawford he beats giant slayers. And that giant slayer being Canelo, but beating a giant like this, like, I think that'll be a little much. Now, who would I have my money on? If this happens, I'll have to break down and see, but can I go against Crawford? Not likely. But at the same time, this is where the weight classes show up. And Benavidez is already a quote-unquote, what people call him, a weight bully. As long as he can make the weight, he can make the weight. But my point is, people call him a weight bully, and he is taller, like longer reach. It's just, stylistically, it just doesn't make sense to make. Like, that's, to me, biting off more than you can chew, like what Canelo did with Bivol. That's where those comparisons come in. But Bud versus Canelo made sense because they're the same height, and Crawford had some advantages on him. This is a complete disadvantage. A complete disadvantage.
The future, with its bad blood, fantasy fights, and agile operators, is guaranteed to be exciting.
Yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment sections below. Hit the subscribe button, follow for more boxing news. I'm out.